Yo, what's up, guys? We are live, and thank God, because it has just saved me from hours of fishing conversation. So, of course, as always, I'm Damnation-n-Hellfire, and with me, we got Doomsday Rebel.
How's it going, everyone?
And as always, the irrepressible Ross Crow.
Good evening, everyone.
So we're going to talk about some battle pirates. This one is episode 62. It's spooky. Referring, of course, to the Halloween event we got starting tomorrow. So we're going to get right into it. Let me start screen sharing. And we'll talk about stuff. Well, first thing up, we got the Turrets of Terror Elite campaign. For any of you guys who don't have all your tier 7 turrets, or you want to get some extra ones and certain ones that you don't have, like a full 8 complement of them yet, this is campaigns for you. You can go back and get some halos, you can get some javelins, you can get some cold snap, just 2s, good specials in here. And then, of course, as you get down to that last prize pack, you can also get 2 generic one-day structure build tokens. And then in the next to last one, you can get 1 regular generic one-day structure build tokens. So I myself have not tried this one yet. I've been hearing some reports that people are getting an excessive amount of damage in it. But I've also heard it's all about how you approach the turret clusters. Like, there's certain ways that if you approach them that you'll do way better than if you approach them other ways. So something to be aware of. You guys, you say neither one of you guys has had a chance to check it out yet either?
No, I have not, but I've seen the same of what you're mentioning. That I've seen people that are good players, not really good players, and they say that they've lost their whole fleet or most of it, and the same fleet that they've used successfully in 120s and 121s. However, then I've spoke to others that say that they have also done it, and without that type of damage at all. So I've been leery.
Yeah, like I said, I myself have not had a chance to check this out yet. I did my FM first because in my mind that's always the priority. And like I really get befuddled sometimes when I hear all these people is like, when they go down for maintenance at like 9 o'clock on a Monday night or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, well, you totally screwed up me finishing my FM." I'm like, "Why didn't you just do it when it first came out?" But anyway.
Right, and for me, I just don't think it's in the right for me, because I think it's. I'm not sure how many battles in each, but there's many. And then, so for me to get to 1 structure build token that I would need, that's just in prize pack 3 alone, just for a 1 day. Then, so it'd be a lot of battles for 1 day build token.
Yeah, I agree.
For me, it's everything I need, but everything that I can't get because I just have the icebreakers. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, base race was for you. This is not so much.
Exactly.
Which is unfortunate, it really is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the bright side is like most of these turrets have been and will continue to be available in other places too, so you'll still be able to get them elsewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, so Patrick in chat is saying he did pretty good in the campaign, and then right after him, Adam is saying he did prize pack 1 with his dragons and took 14 hours worth of damage. So yeah, it seems to be results seem to be flying all over the place. Like I said, I think from what I've gathered, like I said, I haven't had time to do it because I was still repairing for my FM, but from what I've gathered, it's all about on how you specifically approach the turrets. I do believe that there probably is a video or 2 out there, I would assume already, so you might want to try to keep on the lookout for them and see what those different angles of approach can be that are going to cut down on your damage.
And I guess the lowered explosive mounts may contribute to some of the higher damages if you don't take the right approach like you're talking, because you'll have shorter range.
Right. Yeah, so you just definitely got to be careful with the way you approach the target. And then also we got Major Razor.
Okay, and that one started up the 24th yesterday, and that's going to also end on the 31st. 31st. This one's here for it's the Razor Tail flagship, and the specials or the tokens that go with that, along with the nailhead. So prize pack 1, you're going to pick up the nailhead rockets. In prize pack 2, you get the nailhead rockets along with the VXP token, 7,500 times 2. Prize pack 3 is where you're going to pick up the the lead for it, the Razor Tail, and it's a much needed haul if you have the regular Razor Tail. You need to you do need to complete it, and to get to that, you also then pick up 3 7,500 Razor the tokens, the ranking tokens for the mastery. Then when you go through, you pick up nailhead rockets, 7,500 VXP times 3, and then 2 one-day build tokens for the Occam's Razor Tail build. And so you do get a fair amount of tokens if you go, you can go through that 3 times. The issue I see, the damage.
Before we get into the damage part, let's just go ahead and cover what's in the other campaign as well too, and then we can talk about the damage for both of them at the same time, because it's pretty much the exact same, targets for both of them. So.
Right. So by design, by the prizes, it looks good.
yeah. By the prizes, it does. Yeah.
All right. On the Cover of Darkness campaign, this one will help you finish out your Bat Ray fleet if you can finish the prize packs, and that way you can get the flagship for it. So the first one, you're going to get a Gathering Storm. And then you're going to get, let's see, is that another one? And some more tokens. But the prize pack 3 is where you're really shooting for to get your Brennus Bat Ray to help complete your fleet. And it really will boost it. I took mine out unfinished, and it's kind of like almost having a second fleet within one hull almost. And then the final prize pack you can do 3 times to get your tokens and more weapons and VXP. So. If you can do it, that's something you probably want to do if you haven't already got your flagships.
All right, now we can go into the whole damage aspect of the campaign. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm going to say. Oh my gosh. Prize pack 1. I took 8 hours worth of damage to get a single weapon. Yeah, that's not my sweet spot and where I like to be, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's steep, man.
And I took more because I auto. And I took more than that. I took 10. And it's not a fleet lacking in design by any means. So for me, either the prizes are out of order, or something needs to be done with the design of the chain of the prizes, because in order to get to, say, for example, myself, again, the same as the last campaign, it's a ridiculous amount of damage, and even if there were no damage, it's kind of a ridiculous number of battles to get to the item that I would need. And I'm not in a boat by myself in the position that I am. There's many people that are in the same position, and they were just going for the tokens, and they're in the mastery.
It just seems to me that, if you're a person who needs the boat at this point, you're probably not in a position where you can get the boat. And if you're a person that already has the boat, you're probably not that worried about going through all this damage to get to the tokens. It's kind of the way I'm looking at it.
Right. No, that's the plain truth of it. It's not really a upset situation. I don't think the community's really freaking out mad over it. I'm not myself. It's just not willing to. I mean, it's just we just look at this and go, okay, well, it's just set up not for me.
I don't know if I'll take a poll from chat here real quick and see if anybody in there has done this campaign and actually had good success with it at this point. Because, like I said, I don't know. I did prize pack 1, as you can see right there, how it's checked off, and I got one Gathering Storm and took 8 hours worth of damage for that, and I'm like, no, thank you. That's a bit excessive. 8 hours for one limited weapon. I don't know. Nope, no way, no how. Not happening this lifetime for me.
Yeah, I know.
I take 8 hours damage getting the shards in the raid. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
right.
No, you're right.
I mean, at least in the raid too, I was also getting raid points while I was getting the shards, so I could get other stuff. Yeah. It's not like I was taking an hour and a half damage just for a shard.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm really confused sometimes as where they pick up their damage price points on some of these TLCs, because some TLCs they get exactly right, and other ones they're so far off the mark that I'm just like, I don't understand.
Well, the people that can do this campaign probably got the the Bat Ray, the Brennus Bat Ray and the Occam's Razor Tail in the raid. So the people who need it, it's kind of like sometimes they miss the mark on which target audience player base that they're shooting for, who actually needs it versus who can complete it. So.
Yeah, like Dynamite and Adam are both over here in chat are also saying 10 hours of damage for one Needler Rocket, prize pack 1 for 9.5 hours damage. They can keep the rest of the campaign. So yeah, it seems to be pretty much most of the feedback that I've been getting across the board. Just no, thank you. This much damage for one freaking limited weapon. No, thank you. You can keep it.
I agree, and it's not. So yeah, and it's okay, I guess, when we get along. We get a week, or it is a week because we get a new ones every week. It seems that, but we when they sneak when they put a really good one with a bad one, and then we're okay because then there's something to do. But when they double these up, or they're pretty rough. When the damage is so high in all the campaigns offered.
But didn't they reduce the damage the second go around? So maybe the second time this campaign comes up, it'll be maybe a little more accessible.
Yeah, but honestly, by the second time this campaign runs around, we're going to be into the last raid of that raid cycle. So you're only going to be able to use that flagship for one raid.
Right. Right. And if you don't have it by then, you're probably not. You're going to be moving on.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully you are moving on by then, and you're working on something the next cycle.
Yeah, Ninja Penguin 2 is saying prize pack 1, 8 hours of damage, and prize pack 2 killed his mana core lead off in the last target. So yeah, I think it's pretty unanimous across the board. Damage is tweaked way too high on this. So also starting tomorrow, we got the Flying Dutchman. I do have to say, I do like the picture.
Yeah, it reminds me of George Gree's artwork. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of him, but he does a lot of ships and ghost trains and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. So this is going to start tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. kicks time and last till Monday 9 a.m. kicks time. It's almost like the same, almost not quite the same length of a raid, only we don't have half repair time for it. So basically, there's going to be 2 targets. You're going to have the level 13 one, which is the high level one. That's a skirmish target, and it's recommended for legendary Bat Ray and Razor Tails. Of course, obviously your win condition is killing it. The only way you can get out of the target is by let's see. Well, you can retreat, but if you do, you're going to lose, and it's going to reset. If you run out of time, of course, you're going to lose. And of course, if your fleet dies, of course, you're going to lose. So basically, in these, you're going to be hitting them, and you're going to want to, and you're looking for the chest drops. And the chest drops, you can get shards for Gale 4s and the new anti-torpedo countermeasure. That's your highest chance of things to get in the chest. You have a medium chance of getting shards for the Halloween skins for the Razor Tail and the Bat Ray, and you have a very low chance, and it better be an extremely low chance, in my opinion, of getting Cheetah Scattergun shards, Predator missile shards, base parts, uranium, or titanium.
Yeah.
So I'll probably definitely be working on these myself. I'm probably going to do a stream tomorrow morning, so because I'm in alpha, so I'll probably do a stream whenever it starts. Because apparently this is supposed to be work just like a ready to do a rolling start. So, you know, start in alpha first and then work its way through.
Yeah.
But from what I gathered on Discord, they were talking about Robot was doing these for, what was it, 220 minutes worth of damage, but he was not using the flag. So it'd be interesting to see how much difference that the flagship makes, especially not having half repair times. Because I'm telling you, if it's going to take me, and I'm going to take an hour and a half damage at each one of these, and then I'll have to hit like at least 5 to get 1 gale. So that's what's 1.5 times 5, a big number. Yeah, like 7.5 hours or something to get 1 gale. I don't know, but that's only assuming I get a gale shard every single time, and you know that's not going to happen. You know it's going to be split up between the two.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get too paranoid yet because, you know, as I said, Robot in his testing was not using the chip, and the numbers might not have been fully dialed in yet. So I'm going to wait and see what the actual repair times do look like. But yeah, I'll probably definitely, even if they're bad repair times, I'll still be working on it. It'll just limit how many I can do if it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope that it's enjoyable, you know, times. You know, especially without half repair. But do you know how many shards you need for the skins by chance?
I believe I want to say, I think that's 5 as well. I know it says later down in the later slides when we get there.
Yeah, unfortunately, this one, it says not recommending the auto. So
yeah,
I think it's because it's a special event. You know, it's not just our normal monthly or weekly kind of deal. So maybe it's just something. Maybe they just want you to see the ship once.
well, you know, I really hope that people on the BPHQ app cannot hit these, because since it says flat out in the description, if you auto on these, you will probably die. And when you're hitting things with the BPHQ app, you have no choice but to auto. There's a pretty big disconnect there that I can see lots of angry people if they are able to hit these BP app. So, Kicks, I know you're watching. You might want to make sure that they can't be hit from the app, because otherwise you're going to have lots of angry people. And then, of course, they are going to have the lower level one that's a garrison target that's recommended for legendary icebreakers. And the same thing, only your prize payouts are different. You know, you'll have high chance to get shards for Hunter MK1s and Apex Hunter shards and Wolf's Tooth Death charges, and medium chance for base parts, uranium, and titanium, and a low chance for skin shards for each of the ones, and Cheetah Scatterguns and Predator missile shards. Now, that's kind of weird. Hunter MK1 shards. That's odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not sure. Does that mean that if you collect 5, you get the entire blueprint, or you collect 5 shards and you get a naked hull? I don't understand that.
I would think it'd be the blueprint, you know, because they were getting the print for the other, you know, just for the other shards.
Yeah, so I mean, but since the Hunter MK1 was not a limited blueprint in the first place, I guess when you collect 5, you just get the entire blueprint. You can make as many as you want then, I guess. I don't know.
No, that's a good point right there.
Yeah, like, why are you sharding something up that was never sharded in the first place? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Okay. And so is there anything like there's nothing really for me there either then? Because that'd be autoable. No.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
I mean, you have a low,
Base parts.
chance to get charged for the Halloween skins, I guess. So, you know, you can go out and hit auto like 50 billion of them with your icebreakers that you're not doing anything else with, and maybe get your skin that way, and not ever have to hit the big targets to get the skin.
Okay. Well, that gives me something to do, really. I mean,
And the base parts, that might be useful if you can get them.
Yeah. So here it is, the big Gale 4 that everybody's all excited about.
It's the Gale 4 is a upgrade on the Gale System 3, of course. Excuse me, someone's trying to call. All right, sorry about that. So it is a upgrade. It's not upgraded as much as I kind of thought it would be, but it does have a projectile speed of 400. The accuracy is increased some from 35 to 50, and I guess one of the main other differences is just the salvo. Everything else looks pretty much the same. Limited available 10. So
Yeah, and on the next slide, I just did a comparison. You know, like obviously your weight is going to be a big downside because you're 350 tons more, and what you're picking up is 15% more accuracy and one more salvo.
yeah.
I don't know. Looking at the numbers, I don't know that it's all that crucial, to be totally frank about it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd be a lot more. You do get 15% more accuracy, and I would be a lot more concerned, and that would be a much bigger deal if it was like a anti-penetrating type weapon where you only get one shot at each projectile. But in a case where with mortar type anti, where you can get multiple shots at a projectile, the loss of that accuracy, to me anyway, isn't as big of a deal. I don't know what you guys think.
oh, I agree because in fact on the accuracy issue, being that it's an anti, there's no specials to increase or that to change that figure that would make that 15% a drastic amount by changing it with a special as if it was a different weapon type. So I think the 15 is the 15. It is what it is. It's a slight it's a slight increase. Same with the salvo. It is what it is, and that's a slight increase in my opinion. So they're slightly better, and they're a lot heavier, almost double. So, the real issue is, do you have the room? Because I think that if multiple gales or a combination, you could outperform.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that 350 more tons, is worth the 15% accuracy and one salvo. That seems like a pretty significant weight increase for just a little bit of benefit.
And go ahead.
It seems like it's set up for the fleets that have like one counter per ship. To me, it might be kind of hard to do an actual tank up front, full countermeasure tank with that kind of weight. It may not be, but it seems like it'd be a little more difficult.
I'm checking a game right now to see if I can figure out what the build time is. I saw Cuttlefish ask that.
Yeah, that's what I was interested in because we were looking at if you're going to go back and refit things you already have. Wow, then you're really looking at quite some involvement in just that 15 and 1. So
looks like we're looking at about 13 hours, give or take.
Okay, so that's actually better than I thought it would be. Not great, but better than I thought it would be. So,
I mean, that's what, let's see. Yeah, that's, 7 hours more than what a Gale 3 is, roughly.
Right. Hmm.
So I probably wouldn't refit. I would just when I collect them, I would use them for whatever is new instead of trying to go back with it.
Right. Definitely with that. Now with we also have another new countermeasure, and that's the cormorant. I believe it's called the cormorant. It's
Sounds
an
pretty-
yeah, and believe it or not, this one here is an anti-torpedo. This one really has me intrigued. I think this one here is a neat little tricky addition to the game. It is a countermeasure that weighs 125 tons. It's going to actually counters torpedoes. So that it has a projectile speed on it of 550, which is I guess it's pretty fast actually for projectile speed on an anti. Accuracy does have accuracy at 60 also. It has a range ring of between 5 and 42 with a salvo and a 5. So we could possibly change some specials on that to adjust the salvo. A reload time is 6. This one here, I'm interested in this one.
Looks useful.
Well, it just looks like
And I mean, it's interesting too, though, that it does have a donut hole, because that kind of leads with the whole thing of, everybody's strategy was to stay on top of the subs to stay within their minimum range. So you don't need to be shooting in that little 5-inch range for the most part if you're on top of the subs. But then once they like get away from you or whatever, then your countermeasure is then ready to start firing at that point. So yeah, I think this will be interesting. Now to also make sure that you realize this won't shoot smart torpedoes. This is only for the regular torpedoes. You're still going to have to worry about the big ass smart torpedoes that come and put out the ice fields and stuff. But I'm incredibly interested in this.
Yeah, I think it'll really help the bat ray fleets out a lot, which are they're really strong on the map targets already, but so being able to have a counter for regular torpedoes that's huge for the game, honestly.
I'll just say on an onslaught fleet, they look amazing, and I just say that out of humor.
Although it is interesting to notice they do not have any kind of class restrictions on them, so you can put on anything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But something I found especially interesting is both of these new anti-countermeasures. You can only have 10 of each of them.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's gonna probably change sometime in the future, but right now you can only have 10 of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you'd be lucky to get that, I don't know how much that's going to entail. We don't know the damage. Well, we do know it's the 200 some minutes on a fleet without the lead. I'm thinking that's got to be an hour damage on a fleet.
What, 220 minutes? No,
Yeah.
That's more like well, let's see. There's 60 minutes in an hour.
No, I know, but I'm just trying to think if you had to lead. I guess I'm just trying to guess, and I can't. You know what I mean? And so,
right.
I'm really
you'd be in the 90-minute range, is what I'm guessing.
Well, I would say, like you said earlier, the having a flag was almost like having a whole nother fleet. So if it was 220 before, I would say that would probably cut it in half then at 110, say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, this is all just spitballing and throwing numbers out. We have no actual real knowledge of anything.
Right. Total guess. Right. And I'm hoping myself, I would look like at 20 minutes to 20 to 30 minute range would be great for me. and acceptable and keeping the enjoyment level fun, and I'd be continually hitting them. I think I could. I think that would be an appropriate level for myself. So if I were to do it, that's where I would like to see the damage range with a maxed out fleet. I mean, the best of the best.
I'll be honest, I'd even be okay with an hour. You know, go hit one, then repair for an hour and wander off and do other stuff, and then come back in an hour and hit another one and wander off for an hour. You know, I'd be okay with that.
So you would possibly randomly, your chances of getting one item that would be, you're looking at a 25-hour period possibly, at least, in my opinion. So I don't know about that.
Well, how you figured? Where do you come up with 25 hours?
Well, I'm just trying to figure all the different shard possibilities, right? Or what?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I'm figuring. Okay, they say you have the highest chance of getting the Gale and the anti in the level 13 wood. So that would be what, like, we'll just say it would take you. Say you got lucky and you hit 10 targets, and you got 5 and 5 split. So that would be what, 10 hours to get one of each.
So that would be that would be okay to me too. I guess breaking it down like this, that would be acceptable. I guess.
And then, of course, you got the skins, the 5 shards to complete each one of the skins, too. You can get your razor tail, make it look like a pumpkin, or you can get your bat ray and make it look all purpley and stuff. I don't know that. I wonder how well this paint job for the regular bat rays is going to go with the paint job for the flagship. If they'll look good together, or when you look at it, you'll be like, oh my God.
Yeah, see, and I really like the purple myself. It stands out a great deal. I like that. And the pumpkin is kind of whatever, catchy, I guess. You are limited for the Halloween, so but still, I don't know about the pumpkin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the bat ray skin either. It's just I wish then I could in turn give my flagship the same paint job.
I agree. I get it. I do. I get it.
The bat ray reminds me of something out of the old Xbox game Darksiders. There was like some shards and stuff that you could collect. It looked similar to that. And the one thing I really like, the design feature on the Razor Tail Halloween skin, is the little green spot kind of looks like an eye, and the jack-o'-lantern teeth also kind of remind me of the old sea wolf, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do kind of like the razor tail, and it definitely has that monster look about it,
Yeah,
that's kind of neat. And then also we have badges. Well, I guess you noticed up there when we were talking about the targets earlier, you had so many points for killing the target, and then for because apparently the Flying Dutchman, at least in the higher level, is going to also be releasing little skiffs also that can do damage, shoot at you, and absorb shots and whatnot. I'm assuming it's probably going to work almost maybe something similar to Katie's maybe or something. But anyway, you get points for killing all this stuff, and the top 100 people will get the Ghostbuster badge, and the top 1,000 people will get the Ghost Hunter badge. And that's what they look like. I mean, so for those of you who like to go around and collect badges, this is your shtick. Ghostbuster one's kind of interesting. I didn't know it was possible to wrap your hands around a ghost throat, but apparently it is.
You just got to put a sheet on it.
Oh, gosh, that's what it is.
Yeah. But they're pretty cool looking badges. They really are.
Yeah.
Just a few things they added in there at the end for tips. If you're at capacity on advanced resources and already have all the other prizes available from a loot chest, there's a chance you could open a chest and receive nothing. Make sure all your advanced resources aren't full all the time. Keep a steady stream of using them. That way you'll at least always get something. You only receive event points and loot payouts if you achieve the win condition. So yeah, target's set back to normal if you fail. You'll notice that the seas have turned to blood. This is it has no effect. It's just a visual thing. If you own the Ghostbuster badge, you automatically, of course, are going to get the Hunter badge, which I'm not sure why they felt they had to clarify that, because obviously if you finish in the top 100, you finish in the top 1,000. So, but they said strategies from design are to stay on the flanks of the Dutchman, try and keep the Dutchman from cornering itself, and the skiffs and the high-level target will begin to spawn faster as the health goes down. Make sure you're timing out your killing blow correctly.
Interesting.
Yep. So So that's what kind of makes me think that it's almost maybe like a Katie's type thing there, where it said about, timing your killing blow correctly, because it almost sounds like the skiffs might actually be like going out and absorbing shots or whatever.
So the whole try to keep the Dutchman from cornering itself. I wonder if it's going to have some kind of, like an EMP sort of ghost effect or whatever. But if it's cornering, it's a big deal.
Well, because I guess what they're saying though is like if it gets in a corner, you're not going to be able to flank it probably, and they're saying that's the key things is to stay on the flank. So that's probably why you don't want it to get cornered, because you're not going to be able to stay on the flank at that point.
Right.
So that's what we know about the Dutchman stuff at this point. Bug fixes and tunings. Concussive range was not affecting display range in shipyard and base planner. Apparently they fixed that. Corrosive weapon range for Witch Doctor does not appear in the shipyard. Apparently they fixed that. And the rage, smart torpedoes are spawning when there were no interdictors alive in the target. Go figure. And other general bug fixes and performance improvements. Ross, you want to talk about your Phantom Gluttony a little bit?
Sure. Today I will here. I wanted to talk about the Phantom Gluttony. It was offered in that last bounty for a very low price. So, and many people picked up another one also. And they're good bounty hauls for a tier 6 haul. They still have they're a place in the game. Now, I'll go over my build here. I use the Sinful Scatter gun on mine. And I just like that weapon. And now, when I went for the armor, I actually, on the armor, I just on myself, I had been refitting from a previous. So what I cared about was the speed. So I stuck with the V, and I just put the V panels on until I could watch an actual movement in the speed on the print itself. Then after that, I'm not even sure if this would be required. The other panels I did add on there were the D6U, I believe, and then the ballistic panel, because and sometimes I have other altercations or engage other fleets, and I don't drive the greatest and take some hits. So those were worked out for me, for mostly on what I encounter. Now on the specials, I choose the Magnus drive, and I do like the Magnus drive because of the speed on this haul. Now on the second special, I have the Siege battery, and now I would not suggest that. This is a refit. I'm sorry for having you this, but I'll say that I would change that for a res capacitor, so you have a higher speed. You're going to get the same effect that's needed with a higher speed. And then I put Siege targeting 4 on here for building and wall damage. After that, I did use the Nautilus battery for cloak time. Followed by the narrow firing aperture, and that one there is I just did that for the reduction of the spread the increase in splash, and then the boost in the corrosive damage. Finally, I did put on the scatter system. Now, I like this special. It's a multi-shot increaser, a scatter gun reload at 50% at the time. This is what I liked. It has a bonus combat speed of 20%. This little build are items that people in the game, medium to even lower levels, now possibly could have. I think you can, if you build this hull or a few of them, even not a complete fleet, you would be able to hit many map targets if they continue the structures the same for bounty. And that's why I chose that to just go over that.
No, there you go. I was gonna say, and too, like even if you're a little bit higher level, you could probably replace narrow firing aperture maybe for corrosive canisters too, perhaps, because I think you might get a little bit more splash and stuff out of that particular special. But you know, I mean, that's just if you're building it now from scratch and going forward, and you have that higher level tech, you might want to choose that instead of narrow firing aperture. But I mean, other than that, good boat, great suggestion for people who are up and coming and just not getting it. And Travis, you had something for the mid-level guys.
Yeah, this is for the players who do not have the Inferno Dragons and are tired of grinding 89s or even the 111s. Like personally, I hate hitting 111s. Something about the target itself just annoys me. It's just a personal thing. But so I use my icebreakers in 114s, and if you go in and just start with the closest target, kind of how it's like a bait thing that they set up in the target. So if you start with that, you're going to take way more damage. But if you actually go counterclockwise and pick it apart piece by piece, you'll only have the mastodons fire on you one time because you'll only be encountering the one little, what I call the little fire ant ship, that sends the targeting off. But so the first thing you want to do is just group it up to the right and then take out the first set of buildings. Then you'll want to move over to the next set of turrets there, going in a counterclockwise motion. And what you want to do is just click back, and that'll turn your fleet in. And because I'm using lower explosive mounts, so my range is a lot shorter, so I can't reach them. So I have to beach it on that wall. And then that'll take out that entire set of turrets there with very, very little damage on that set because there's no walls. On the next one, let's see, you want to target your executioner, the one that's closest to you, and you want to beach this as well. By targeting this executioner, you'll be able to splash out the one that's behind it. And in this target, you never want two of those, or more than two of the executioners firing on you, because not only do they have the missiles coming out, but they have these small little splash pellets that'll come out and damage your whole fleet. And you can either run, one ship ahead to take out that the splash just on one ship, or just try and smash it as fast as possible. So once you take out that set, you want to move to the top and then target the cold snap turret. By doing so, you're going to splash out both of the executioners at the same time, and they're only going to get one volley off on you. From that point, I just hit auto, and it'll go in and take out the gate, the torpedo turret, and the 3 mastodons. And then after that point, on the next slide, you'll want to just move up to the top of the screen and come around and then select the cold snap again. This will allow you to splash out both of the turrets also. Then what I do is I come back around and take out the final mastodon, and then the 2 Deadeye executioners, and then I'll come back up to the top again because I hit the same angle on the last 3 groups of turrets, because like I said, if you come straight in on them and you select that cold snap, it'll take out that whole section of turrets really, really quick. So and you'll end up with about an hour and 15 minutes worth of damage. Now I'm running R8s, So, like I said, if this is not for the high level players, but I see a lot of people grinding still with icebreakers, and they're taking forever. And this way, I can, in a day, you could have your witch doctors. So this is something for the lower to mid level guys that still have their icebreakers that they're tired of just sitting and grinding 150 targets to get something. You can literally do 5 or 6 to 7 targets with a fleet and then repair for like 10 hours and then go back and do it again. And this raid I was able to get both keen edge rockets, my the concussive armor, the limited armor, let's see, 3 Ifrits, bow specials for that, and several other things. I would do it before bed. I would let it repair. I'd wake up. I would do some before I go to work, let it repair, and 3 days in, I was done. So
Good deal.
Yeah, congratulations on telling a bunch of mid-level guys how to get witch doctors. PvP is about to get a whole lot more interesting.
my bad.
I didn't put them in there. That's something else that we actually hadn't mentioned yet was the witch doctor being in the FM. What do you guys think about that? That's pretty crazy, huh?
That was Kicksaw takes a lot of flack for almost everything, blood on the water, everything. And, some of it's just silliness, but that truly was a player's first move, in my personal opinion. May not be everybody's opinion, but to me, that was a pretty solid move to put it in the FM for that price. It's not even 2,500; it's 1,500, so, or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was a good deal. I was a little tiny bit disappointed. Well, I was disappointed and relieved at the same time that it didn't increase the maximum for the players who already had it. But disappointment and relieved all at the same time. So I'm like, oh man, I can't have 5 witch doctors. But then I was also like, oh, thank God, 5 witch doctors can't come hit me.
That's for sure.
But having the pieces in the player's hands is crucial. It's just I had a pretty rough bounty. I did have some half-built witch doctors. I just didn't have all the specials and stuff. But getting the couple items from the bounty and then refitting it with the tokens from the FM and taking it back out, it was so fun, man. So having the tech in the players' hands to where they can have fun is what needs to continue to happen.
So there's a couple other things I want to talk about that we don't actually have slides for, but that have happened over the past 24 hours of Battle Pirates. First of all, what do you guys think about the poll that they put up for temporarily disabling the sniping and shore fleets?
I saw it and I chuckled to myself to see how many participated in it. It was just a huge amount, even just participated in it. And then it was how I figured the community would vote for it in the first place. It's about the same number versus the number of snipers that are out there in the game.
Yeah.
So
like back in the day we used to call it ninja, ninjaing. So like chore fleets to me I don't think should be messed with. It's the whole holding someone up by you sniping their conqueror fleet and just it's kind of like a waste of server time.
I know I myself, and I'm sure this is going to make me real fucking popular when I say this. I actually am one of the people who voted no, keep it as it is. But let me explain why. Because to me, all they're really doing, like the whole bigger issue, is repair times on the chore fleets to begin with. The repair PvE fleets. And basically, in my personal opinion, what they're doing by doing this is just trying to mask the bigger issue and put it back up on the shelf so we don't have to talk about that by going forward and doing it this way, is my personal opinion. And that's why I put no, leave it the way it is, because I wanted to keep that issue out and in the forefront and for it to be talked about. So, contrary to what people like Hefe want to believe, no, I am not the pro sniping show. I've actually had a much bigger reasoning for doing it as opposed to supporting a temporary band-aid fix that masks what the bigger issue is.
Yeah, and their inability to defend in itself, you know, against the different styles of ships is my issue with it. So, you know, they really can just get wiped out and they just don't have a chance.
I think you know, sniping it's always had a place in the game. Even, you know, when people were running their little, you know, the first time we got predators, or you know, the tiny little subs that used to piss everybody off with floating fortresses, and you would dance back and forth. But there needs to be a divide. Like, all right, it needs to be a level kind of playing ground. It can't be a, you know, a non-winnable battle, or just, you know, complete waste of time. Like, there should be a you know, just the conqueror versus conqueror, or you know, PVE versus PVE. I think there's a place for it in the game, and it just right now it's just so messed up. It just seems like it shouldn't be, but it could be fixed, I think.
Well, right. Well, my kind of thought stems from I'm a heavy HQ app player,
Exactly.
and the uh, the app doesn't allow me to engage in those battles. Even if I were just to say that had some secret weapon, you know, design of something in the future that could even fight back, I don't have that option. Instead, I have an option of watching my fleet come home dead, and you know, and that's it. Well, so I don't think that that's okay, and so therefore, I think it needs to. Something has to, for not to be able. Or it's not fun to not even be able to participate in that battle that I'm engaged in. Right.
So, like, the two other things that got brought up on Discord today where Mike was talking about some potential ideas that they had for introducing things in the game. One I thought was the best thing I had heard from Kick's Eye as far as a suggestion in probably like 3 or 4 years. The other one I was not a big fan of. One of them was how in your shipyard, whenever you go to build a ship, having suggested builds, whether it be from Kick's Eye or quote pro players. I personally was not a big fan of that one. I think that it takes us further down the line of, well, two things. It takes us further down the line of limiting people's creativity, because if their build is supplied with them, a suggestion, they're just going to hit that button and be like, okay, and not even really a lot of times look to see what's available. And having suggested builds where people can just do that and click OK doesn't really help anybody understand the game any better. You know, they don't. They're like, okay, well, I have this fleet, but I still don't understand why any of this stuff is on it. You know.
Yeah. To me, it kind of makes it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It makes it one-dimensional too, like you're saying. Like, it takes the creativity away from the players. Like in a lot of cases. Now, in some cases, it may be good, but to me, it seems like they would have, like, the design team would see, like, all right, here's these certain builds, all right, so let's build targets to counter this, you know. So it's easier for them to design against, really, than for us to be benefited by trying different stuff in the game. And just
right.
Sorry, go ahead, Ross. You want to say something?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head on it's easier to design against. You know, if everyone's using this exact fleet, that makes it much easier to me, in my opinion, to design against. You know, there's no outside of the box.
Well, I mean, of course, you know, as Mike was saying, well, it's just a suggestion. It's not catered towards top-end players. But at the same point in time, if you're making it so they don't actually have to learn about the game to learn why to put stuff on and learn how to build ships, then you're never going to have any more top end players, period.
Right. They'll eventually have top end players that don't know what they're doing and going off suggestions.
Now, the other thing which I saw that I thought was the most amazing thing since sliced bread was having a detailed end of battle report to tell you like what was hitting you, how hard it was hitting you, and where the most of your damage was coming from in targets. I think that is the most amazing thing I have seen suggested from the kick side in God knows how long. And quite honestly, I also think that would take away a lot of the necessity to have suggested builds, because anybody, like whether they're a new player or whether they're an experienced player, if they see, oh, this target is dealing me a whole lot of explosive damage from this weapon right here, they're going to know if I want to have better survivability, I need to put a bunch more explosive defense on my ship than what I currently have.
Yeah,
I think battle thing is the best idea I've seen come out of kicks for a long time.
Oh, I guarantee for sure. Just in thought, it's the number one. It's the number one idea of the year. Period. There's not even in my gameplay. There's not another comparison for the year.
Yeah, I'd agree. Just being able to know that number and know those stats, that's where the true strategy comes in, and that's why we started playing. You know, I think some people forget that it's still a real-time strategy game, and to have that data would be huge. It really would.
I mean, it's just like even in what we're going through right now with the current raid targets and not knowing what the pass-through damage is, so not knowing at what point it's not worth it to start stacking resistances anymore. That dude, having that information in our hands would make a huge impact in right now, right away.
Yeah.
All the time. Can you imagine? Oh, look how much one more panel gets you, you know, saves you in repair. Okay, what about taking off that panel? You got to be kidding. That'd be awesome. You know, really to have that right there.
And Mike said something on the Discord today that just blew my mind, because it was a complete 180 from what Kix has historically thought. As he said, basically, if it's information they know, we should know it. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a complete 180 from historically what we've had, because before it was like, we know everything, but we're not going to tell them nothing, you know? And I'm like, wow, that's just amazing that somebody in that high of a position would even think that way. So yeah, I was flabbergasted. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm all about the after battle reports, and you know the like have a little pop up that explains the target, you know, a little bit before you even go into it, so you know what you're looking at. That would just be freaking amazing.
If it even went over to, if that carried over to PvP, just to tell you after the effect of what you just got your ass whooped by. Oh my God, I'd coin a lot just to see that feature. I'm saying that right now. That's the truth. That'd be great. I would coin a lot.
Mike, when he was talking on Discord, he said, I mentioned to him that, with the fleet builds, like if we had, different loadouts or ways to try it, well, they offer, like fleet offers now, with like all the blueprints and weapons and all this. And I've looked at a lot of them, and a couple of them I've almost bought. But like I told him, and he agreed, sometimes games with the try before you buy would be the best approach. Like, say, for instance, the Predators, or the subs, whatever that they offered, that ended up not being all that great in the raid. Now, if I had the opportunity to try that on map targets to see what I could use it for, I would even consider purchasing that fleet outright. But without actually getting my hands on it and using it, I really just would be like, okay, I'll just slow build it if I ever have time. If it's still relevant in the game. But if I was able to take it out for like an hour or two and just test it and see what all it can do, what it can't, and then once my time limit's up, so be it. You know, I can make a decision better from that point.
Well, it's basically the exact same mentality that they use in car dealerships of taking a car out for a test drive. You know, everybody wants to take their car out for a test drive before they actually buy it. So why be the same in the game?
Yeah. You know, because I've seen the Inferno Dragons, you know, like I said, coming back after 2 years and having to build, you know, fleet for base parts, uranium, titanium, the Forsaken mission, raids, and TLCs, and just, you know, everything. It's just, I can't do them all at once. So I've, you know, tried to pick one at a time and just slowly pick apart. But you know, I've noticed they offered the Inferno Dragons, but well, if I could take it out and test it on a 120 or 121 and see if I like it enough to where I can focus my attention on, you know, maybe building stuff for PvP, I would consider, you know, coining the thing. I really would.
Yeah, and I mean that would be a great thing. Like you know, instead of the arena button up there, having have the test drive a fleet button up there. You
Yeah.
know.
And this is just a random thought. I always thought it would be fun to have like a weekend where we had a random fleet generator. Like you just click a button and it gives you a fleet, and you got to go out and do your best base hit with it or whatever. I think it'd be crazy, but it'd be fun.
That would be kind of crazy. Give you like a witch doctor, a king's writ, and oh, what was that? What was the really bad tier 6 radioactive hull that just got offered in like a raid or two ago? Oh shit, I can't think of the name of it. It was part of the on series.
Yeah, and it was in. Gosh.
Oh, yeah, help me out, chat. You know, I know you know what boat I'm talking about. Because it was the one that got offered along with the Valiant in that one raid where they said that we were getting new PvP hulls. So it's like, these aren't new, these are old. But anyway, whatever it was. It was just a good thing to see. Yeah, the incinerator. Thank you,
Hey, thank you. Good job, Cowfish.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, you're gonna have like a witch doctor, a king's writ, incinerator, and like an eviscerator in there or something, just some hodgepodge, and be like, okay, here you go, see what you can do.
Yeah. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Just because it would test your strategy. It wouldn't be like, you know, test your recommended build. No, it's test your fucking strategy at this point. You know, you got this, this, and this. What can you do with it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know one of the big areas of the conversation right now is chores too. I'm just like, I don't know.
You know, and I kind of chuckle at this point. It's not a new issue, so it's been an ongoing issue, but it has been really a issue at the forefront lately. Even by Kixeye themselves in surveys asking about the chores and everything, and I have to assume that, I mean, really being in a player that plays as much time as I do play, I see other comments on other pages and in game, and I know that my thoughts are not alone in saying that the chores are out of hand, and we're getting more.
Yeah, see, I don't mind like
I don't.
All right, say like I could take my Skyfires out in auto and get my titanium, or I could take the you know, prototypes or bat rays out and get my uranium. If relatively, sometimes depending on the target, instant repair or, you know, minimal repair, acceptable repair, to where I could go out and spend an hour and load up on those two resources that I got the fleet for. But when they reintroduce the new map targets, you know, they're bigger, they're more time consuming, there's more damage, and it's just like, man, I got to rebuild another one of these, you know, just to do what I was doing before. It's kind of.
Well, I mean, my take on chores is, I don't know, because like I know Kickside doesn't. I know for a fact Kickside doesn't like when I say this, but if the topic's going to come up and you want my true opinion, this is what my true opinion is, and you can't give me shit because I'm giving you what you asked for, and that was my opinion. But 7 years ago when I signed up for this game, there was none of these freaking chores involved at all. None of them. You didn't have to go out and do a weekly Forsaken mission. You didn't have to go out and get uranium. You didn't have to go out and get base parts. You didn't have to go out and get titanium. You didn't have TLCs. It was to come in, smash people, and be smash game. When you log on, maybe if you need some resources to build something, you go out and hit some salvages or hit a mine or whatever. But other than that, it was going out, smashing, being smashed, and talking crap on comms, man. That's what this game was all about.
No, yeah, I 100% agree.
Uranium, titanium, base parts, and all this other stuff is just imaginary little carrots that they put on this stick to keep things just out of your range and keep you working and playing on the PvE aspect of the game, which is not. This isn't called PvE pirates; it's called battle pirates.
Yeah, see, I like today, where I refitted the Witch Doctor and was able to go out and actually hit some 115 bases and 112s and stuff. I would always get my FM fleet going first, but this is going to be kind of a light FM for me. Now I still got a lot of stuff to get completely called up. But for me, I'm just going to get one Witch Doctor. That's all I need to have my 3. And just, the tokens and chests and a few other little prizes, some armor and stuff. So it was nice to not feel the pressure that I felt last FM because it was like, oh man, there's 3 Ifrits right there and their specials, plus the keen edge rockets that I still need and the limited armor that I still need. So last week was like a rush and a grind all the way through. This one I could relax, so it was nice to be able to take my Witch Doctor and actually throw it in front of my FM fleet slot and repair it first, just so I can go out tonight and have some fun. And I'd rather spend the time repairing my base fleets than having to do the FM fleet. The repairs the same. They're going to have, I'm going to coin it. It's going to be the same time. It's the same 30 minutes regardless. But I would rather coin the 30 minutes on player versus player than player versus environment.
Yes.
Absolutely. And the amount of chores that we have to do now and the repairs that go with those chores preclude so many people from even being able to participate in PvP. Because when I get done all my FM and whatever TLC is, and going out and farming my titanium and my uranium and my base parts to do all this other crap they want me to do, and I look and I have 19 hours worth of repairs stacked up on my dock from doing all that crap. The last thing I'm going to go and do is add 5 more hours repair from PvP, and
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd love to see the dual Conquer / PvE repair thing in play all the time, because then I would actually go out and hit bases, and doing these chores wouldn't preclude me from engaging in PvP as well.
Yeah, that really needs to happen. And this was my first kind of real experience with bounty. And I still wasn't ready by no means. My base is crap, so I got farmed to death. I think I lost about 10,600 points in the end, and I was able to keep 19,000 and then get the other 10. But to me, what makes bounty seem like another event is the time frame. From a game designer's point of view and a player's point of view, I see things in the game that are useless, like medals. Well, medals and bounty could be combined to have it runs continuously. So you're not in a rush to go out and try and get all this stuff in this limited amount of time. Now, they could add, prizes into the prize list periodically. But you build up your bounty or your medals or whatever, and then trade it in at your leisure. Now, I know There's
sounds like you crawled in my brain space back from when they first introduced Bounty. That's what I said.
yeah. Now I'm sure it's a whole. They're going to give us it's a server load and all this, but really, if you think about it, there's not that many bases being populated, per sector. It's just a few around each um, subsector resource base, so it's not a huge load to the map. I wouldn't imagine, but I always wanted something to where you earned for playing. Like I gave them the an idea long ago for battle tokens. Like everything that you do, you get something, and eventually you could cash it into like a black market, or we could have like a forsaken exchange commerce center or something, to where there's tech there that you don't have to bust your ass this week for the raid and then do the bounty the next week, or VXP the next. One of them should be extended to where, okay, you accumulate the same points, but you don't have to rush to get it. If you want something real quick that you can use, people are still going to coin it. But the whole point of it is that it wouldn't seem like such a hassle at that point, or another event. It would just be there. I wouldn't feel like it was a chore if I could do it at my own pace.
Yep.
Because bounty, even being kind of my first event, like I was using partial built hulls, just hitting lower bases, but it was a grind. It was a real grind. Now, I would be in a better position this week than I was, going into it. But still, it would be nice to be able to do 3 or 4 or 5 a night and call it a night and do something else, work on my FM. Then the next night I could do 3 or 4 or 5, and just every day just do a couple.
Yeah. Oh, something I do want to talk about too, and I'm guessing it's still in the game at the moment. I know it was this morning because I got one, but that those time limited offers that they have in right now, where you can actually use coins that you already own to buy stuff. Like there was one that was it was 2 one-day ship build tokens and a Hyper 30 for 57 coins. Oh yeah, I bought those. I bought one of those. That was like a no-brainer. Because I know lots of people, and this is no secret. So I know lots of people got free coins from this last bounty because of all the bugs and all the everything that was going on and people putting in tickets. That's honestly, in my opinion, that would be a great way to put some of those free coins that you got to use, is buying those types of deals, checking out, seeing what's there, what's available, and what you can use.
And they're good tokens too. They're not limited. They're open ship builds. So you're just your choice. Yeah, it's a good offer.
Yeah, I might even be tempted to go back in and get another one of them, because I think the one with the Hyper 30, you can get 3 of them, I think, or was it 4? I can't remember. But yeah, you can get multiples of it. So I've only picked up one so far, but I might go back and pick up another one.
Yeah, you can get 3. You can do it time 3, and the neat feature that I like most, not only the price, right, is that actually that you can it withdraws the coins off your account. It's already on there. I'm a player that I play with a coin amount. I purchase the same amount monthly, so that time is almost the same day every month too. So when these special offers pop up, I lose out on a lot of them, in all honesty, because I've already spent my budgeted amount that I'm willing to spend, and these I get to take advantage of.
Yeah,
absolutely. I totally agree with that. And yes, Cuddle, the Hyper 30, you can only get 1 Hyper 30 per offer, but you do have 3 offers available to purchase. But I mean, yeah, shit. I mean, so you figure the 2 one-day ship build tokens at half off would be 48 coins. So you're getting half off on those ship build tokens, and then paying like 9 coins for a Hyper 30 or whatever. Shit. I'm all right with that, buddy. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I do things that you know, that's what they say 47%. But in my opinion, anything that's half off like that range, I take advantage of, even in the shop. I like those offers. They're good offers when it's half off to me.
I had a really good offer in the shop the other day, and it was a Conqueror class build token for 17 coins. Normally they're like, 30 on the discount. It was like 17.
Nice.
I was like, oh yeah, I got that.
No, exactly. So there's some good ones out there. You just got to make sure you look every day. Don't just get aggravated. I know sometimes it seems like it's just the repetitive, same old. But every now and then there's really a good one that pops in there.
I know I've run across like Defender class build tokens in there, 1-day build tokens for like 7 coins before.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a crazy deal. I'm a cheap ass, and even I'll buy that.
Right?
But yeah, so I think that's pretty much, unless anybody in chat has stuff that they want us to cover, I think we probably talked ourselves out at this point. So
Right.
we'll give chat a minute to catch up, see if they got anything they want us to cover.
Yeah, I would say, for those people that aren't going to participate in this Halloween event, that's what I'm calling it. Where I work on the weekly and get that witch doctor. That's really really great haul. It is the go-to PvP haul in the game currently, and it's definitely within reach. So.
And it's special.
When we're gonna see the Revenant offered again. I want to see that again out soon, because I know that's making a large impact in base defense currently.
Yeah, I don't know.
Soon, hopefully, soon. Hint, hint, Kicks. I know you're watching. Soon. All right. So Love Angel wants to know what the best hulls these days are. PvP, Witch Doctor. PvE, it just depends on what you're trying to do. It'd be either Manicores or Inferno Dragons, or it just depends on what you're looking for. I mean, obviously the FM is the biggest thing as always. So Inferno Dragon, I would have to say, in PvE is probably the biggest thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
But cool. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up there. Unless were you gonna say something, Travis?
I was gonna, where I'm still struggling on the base parts. What I see, people going at each other a lot. Like, the Hydra's better, the Buck's better, the Ironclad. What's y'all's experience, or what fleet do you use for base parts?
I use Buccaneers. I have a fleet of 4 along with the Buccaneer Boon. I can go out and hit 98s all day long, and just only have to ever worry about repairing the flag every now and then. Yeah. I mean, some people are like, "Oh, I like my Hydras better because I can go out and auto the bigger ones, the 102s or 103s or whatever the hell they are." But I don't know. Just I honestly, I have more enjoyment out of my Buccaneers. I can just put them in and let them go and not have to pay any attention to them, and that's what I use.
Nice.
I do the exact same. I mean, it works out just fine. The 98s and on auto, so that's what I use.
I would honestly say, though, if you don't have a base part sorted by this point, you might as well just wait, because next month is not this upcoming raid, but the raid after that is with the next install. So you can put fleet together with that, and that'll be your base parts there. So
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Or just build 1 or 2 hulls to where I can just do a small target, just get a little here and there. Because the guy he sent me on the forum, he sent me a link. It was for Ironclad with like millennial cannons or something, or millennium cannons, and it was just like a 7-day build. But I didn't know, like, is it for the lowest target there is. I mean, because 7 days is a pretty attractive build. I mean,
right. But I mean, at the same point in time, like, since you've been back, do you have Bucks at all or no?
I have it unlocked, but I haven't built them.
Gotcha. Do you have tokens for them or no?
No, none.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, I'm not. I really don't know in your position what I would do at that point. Maybe, yeah. I mean, if you can crank out one of those ironclads for like 7 days or whatever. But then again, I wonder if you could crank out a buck with just a very basic buck with only a couple weapons on and an armor plate or two, and be able to do those same targets. You know, with only one. So I don't know.
Cool.
All right.
I hear sirens. They're coming to get Travis, so we better turn it off at this point. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching the show. Definitely appreciate you. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe. Send your friends to the page if they're not already there. And we will talk to you Saturday when we're going to talk about some more Battle Pirates related things. Thanks for coming. Talk to you later. Bye. I'll put the link to the Hangout too for the after show if anybody wants to come in. You're more than welcome. So, all right, cool. Talk to you later.
Have a good.
Okay.